Durag Diaries, PSG 5, Tottenham 3. And do you know what? At least it wasn't the same as Arsenal. We got a drumming. We got our licks. We still got dealt with. But it was nowhere near as bad as the game was the game on the weekend against Arsenal. At least we showed some fight, some grit, some type of determination to get back into the game. Aggressive, on the front foot. The performance wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. I heard the commentators, Glenn Hoddle. I know Spurs through and through, and I love him. I ain't got nothing against Glenn Hoddle, but he was glazing. He was glazing. He's trying to make it seem like, yeah, the boys can take so much confidence from that. You know, they haven't playing so well today. You know, no, we played well compared to the weekend. We didn't play well in general. Yeah, we had a few chances. Yeah, we broke them down a couple times. We were playing high. We were playing, you know, a good press like we played in that first game against them. I wouldn't say breaking them down because still struggled from playing out from the back. And I think the third goal that we conceded, the goal that sort of turned the game and flipped it on its head for us, was when Romero played it into Sarr. But I just think far too often we see us concede goals like this, or we see us lose the ball like this because our shape in the build-up is so poor. We played a different style today. Very confusing. I can't lie. Before the game, I tweeted, this might be the last dance for Frank, because I was very confused with how he was trying to set up. But when it was going on the app, some of them are telling me 5-3-2. I'm looking at it, what? 5-3-2? What are we doing here? But no, it was more of a 4-4-2 diamond, you'd call it, maybe 4-2-2-2. You sort of had Sarr on the right, but not really on the right, still very narrow in his positioning. But you had Bergvall playing very quite high up on the left a lot of the times when we was attacking, with Richarlison and Kolo Muani floating in at the front. But I think it just showed today the golfing quality between Tottenham and PSG. And that's why I said earlier, should we just put the L in the bag? Because there's just a difference between us. And you saw it today, the technical level, the players, Vitinha. Oh my God. Vitinha is so damn good. So damn good. And I ain't even mad. Like, the goals he scored, my biggest problem with the goals he scored was we've conceded far too many goals on the edge of the box. We dropped too deep. When we're letting teams play in front of us, we drop too deep and we do not have our midfielders. Our midfielders drop into the back line. So that's why we're very good at box defending. Nobody breaks us down in the box too often. But then we leave so much space on the edge of the box because our wide players aren't tucking in. And we're not trying to have them tucking because that's just super defensive, bruv. I'm not doing part of the bus ball. So he needs to look at this and he needs to address this. I've noticed this since preseason. I've called this out time and time again in so many of my reviews. And if I can see this, I don't know what Frank isn't seeing. The build-up is killing us far too often, just trying to play over the press. The one game where we tried to play through, we only have one person really dropping in, didn't have the two people dropping in and showing for the ball. But look, that's a problem that I can go on about for forever. I'm about to stutter. I'm about to sound mad. But Bentancur and Paulinho must have nudes, and Frank's. But see, he must have Frank's mum's nudes or some shit, bro. It's got me stuttering because it sounds so mad. It sounds mad when it comes out, yeah. But how is these two consistently staying on the pitch every single game without fail? I see Bentancur and Richarlison, 90 minutes played, barely coming off the pitch. At the point when I wanted to see a sub, when I felt like there could have been a change in the game, when this momentum shifted, as soon as it went to 2-2, I was looking at the bench and I said, Frank, do something. Frank stood there. And that's where I'm really starting to get worried, because as much as I see his setups for the game are much more adaptable to what we've seen under Ange, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're playing good football or we're going to see a good performance. It doesn't necessarily mean in the game he's adapting and he's changing to what's currently happening in front of him. And that's what we're not seeing enough of. Is during the game, he's making substitutions a little bit late. We made our first substitution on pretty much at when the penalty came. So it's at 4-2. Why are we bringing 2 players on at 4-2? Even though they were going to come on at 3-2, like they should have come on long before. He was bringing them on at 65th minute or something like that. Like, that's too late. We should have 10 minutes out of extra time after halftime. We should have noticed and seen that the game state had changed. PSG, as much as we scored, flipped the game on its head. The pressure started to mount. And we know what we're like. We always crumble under the pressure for some type of reason. They call it Spursy. But every single time, we crumble under the pressure. Once one team just presses us too high, a team that can just work us and, you know, play some good football for 10 intense minutes, we always concede. 9 goals conceded in 2 games. I can't believe what I'm seeing in front of my eyes. Is this Ange Postecoglou? It feels like it. It feels like it, just without the, you know, basketball transition game. Without that, it's a bit more stable, but at the same time, going forward, we're just not looking good enough. Kolo Muani, he had a good game today, you know, turning up against his old side. One assist, 2 goals. Was very pivotal to most of our front forward play and show me what I know he can give to us. I like him. I know one of the problems I did have in the first half was he's not competing for enough aerial duels, and maybe that does have something to his jaw, but then we should be playing to his feet, because as we saw, whenever we're getting the ball to his feet, he's trying to make something happen. He's linking play. He's doing 1-2s. He's trying to beat his man and done really well to work that 3rd goal for himself, but also that 3rd goal from Bergvall. Oh, it was so good to see Bergvall, Sarr, and Archie Gray. That's one thing I should have said. To see those 3 back in the team, I think this is the first time they've started all together since Burnley. And we just look like a better football inside with those 3 in there. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it's because Paulinho was out of the team, but I just think when you have 3 players in the midfield that are a lot more technical, you can move the football forward on the floor a lot better. But also, I feel like Frank keeps underrating the duel winning that Sarr and Bergvall do when we're playing those long balls, those long direct passes. You've got 2 ball winners in there that like to press high, like to be intense. And I just feel like we've got to see more of that. Now, I don't necessarily think both of them should start. That's one thing I do not want to see. I think Archie Gray can get chucked in there, but seeing Bergvall next to Paulinho would be nice. Potentially Bergvall, Gray, Paulinho, and then throw Xavi out on the left. That's something that we could see, but I like the change in shape, but at the same time, again, we lost. It wasn't good enough today. The Frank train has truly halted. The brakes are up. The brakes are up. Questions are being asked. This weekend, I need a result. This weekend, we have a home game against Fulham. Thomas Frank, Spurs, you best win, or your job is on the line. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. A home game against a Fulham side who are bottom half of the table, bottom 5 even. We must win this game. Because as much as the performance was better tonight, still not good enough. So we can look at some of the positives. But Sarr, that's why I said I don't want to see him and Bergvall start together, because I always see a mistake in Sarr. I'm not going to lie. I like Sarr. I really like Sarr. But there's always just some little type of mistake. I think he needs to get a little bit more physical. I think he needs to bulk up a little bit. And that's our problem with some of these young players. I think Bergvall's the only one who physically looks ready out of Gray, Sarr, and him. I think Gray can bulk up a little bit more. Sarr as well. He can get physical sometimes, but I want to see him. He bounces off people too much and tends to be the guy on the losing end of the stick. So need to see him bulk up a little bit more. It's just a little bit poor for that 3rd goal. But again, not fully blaming him. I do think Romero should have done better. The handball was unfortunate. I think in the Premier League, probably not given because it was so close, but at the same time, it needs to be better. It needs to be better from both Romero and Van de Ven, because I think these last 2 games have shown some of their frailties, shown that at the back we can be opened up. Not just these last 2 games. You can look at, obviously, the Chelsea game. You could say Man United games at time, Bournemouth, definitely, Monaco. So there's a few games we've been opened up, I'm not going to lie. But with these 2 at the back in particular, I just expect it to be a little bit better. I do know that when we play a bit higher up the pitch, as we saw today, I think the first half was so good. The second half, we just crumbled a bit. So let's see in it. Let's see how it goes. But make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel, man. Make sure you guys are subscribing, liking, doing all of that business. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. How was the game for you? Is this Thomas Frank out now? Is this finally time, or was this a promising performance that could lead on to a better result on the weekend? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And yeah, man, look, people, it's your boy Durag Diaries. No Durag yet again, because Spurs just can't get a win right now. But we'll be back on the weekend. Match reaction. God bless.